Thanks to the grace of heaven, the virtues of our holy teachers, the mercy of our Lao Tianren and Tianren up in heaven, and thank you, Master and lecturers and brothers and sisters, for your kindness to give me this opportunity to share the annual lecture with you. And tonight, we are still on the category Propriety and Ren. Okay, and tonight will be our last session on this category because we have only 3 passages left, and then we will move on to filial piety and fraternal respect. Okay, so we are learning selected readings from the annual lecture, and we are on the Propriety and Ren, and tonight is our last session on this category. Okay, and you may find that previously I translate propriety and benevolence, but tonight I changed my translation. I translate Ren directly as R-E-N. So I would like to explain the meaning of Ren and the importance of Ren to you again tonight. The term Ren, in Chinese Ren, is very important, holds significant importance in Confucian philosophy, and is the most fundamental concept in Confucianism. And it has been translated into English in various ways, such as benevolence, altruism, goodness, compassion, or humaneness, etc. However, translating it accurately and using a single term to translate it accurately is very challenging because it doesn't specifically refer to a particular virtue. Instead, Ren, we know that it is very broad. The meaning of Ren is very profound and broad. So it represents an inner capacity within every human being. It's inherent within us. And it's an inner capacity within us to possess the goodness, to do good and act as we should. And so it is the summation of all virtues. Note that all virtues, the summation of all virtues. So Ren does not refer to specifically as benevolence, kindness, compassion, but it is the summation of all virtues. In Chinese, we say 总德, 德性的总称. Okay, so after receiving Tao, we come to understand that Ren originates from the essence of our true nature. 我们自性的本体, the essence of our true nature, and it is our conscience. So initially, in my elaboration of the Analects, initially we attempted to maintain a consistent English term throughout the text, like I use benevolence to translate Ren in the Analects. However, we later opted to utilize different English terms. So sometimes I use different English terms in different passages. Finally, tonight, I decide to leave it untranslated as R-E-N. So R-E-N, then we can, when we see R-E-N, immediately we understand it's the transliteration of the Chinese term Ren, and it is the summation of all virtues, and it originates from the essence of our true nature. Okay. All right, so I said we have 3 passages left in this category. So the 3 passages, the first one of the 3 is this one, 子贡. 子贡 asked about the practice of Ren, and Confucius answered, when a craftsman wants to do a nice piece of work, he will always sharpen his tools first. A craftsman wants to do a nice piece of work, he will always sharpen his tools first. It's a very popular Chinese saying, but however, because probably you don't speak Chinese, so you don't know the saying, so I will explain it later. Okay, let's go on to read the text. When you are living in any state, get into the service of the most virtuous and capable among its great officers. Confucius told Zigong. Zigong was one of Confucius' great disciples. And Confucius told Zigong by saying that if Zigong wanted to live in any state, he should get into the service of the most virtuous and capable among its great officers and make friends of the most benevolent among its inferior officers. And what does that mean? So before I explain further, I would like to share with you the hierarchical social structure in Zhou dynasty. So we see great officers and inferior officers. So let's see the social structure. In Zhou dynasty, there was only one emperor under heaven. It is called the Son of Heaven, 天子. Okay, so 天子 is the one and only. And under the leadership of 天子, there are several kings. And every king has his territory called kingdom. All right. So at that time, people thought that the sky is round, and the land was flat. The sky was round, covered the land, and the land was flat. And under the sky, under the heaven, there's only one 天子, called the Son of Heaven. He was the absolute leader above all people. All right. So translate into English called emperor. And under the leadership of an emperor, there were several kings. And each king has his territory called kingdom. Okay. And under the leadership of every king, there were several great officers. Great officers were very high-rank officials. All right. And under the leadership of every great officer, there were several inferior officers. So under the leadership of a king, there might be like several great officers, and under a specific leadership of a great officers, there were several inferior officers. And why Confucius told Zigong by saying that you need to serve the most virtuous and capable among its great officers and make friends of the most benevolent among its inferior officers. Why Confucius told Zigong that? Because Zigong was a very talented disciple, and he was very good at doing business. He was very rich and very successful in doing business. And also he was very good in politics. So Confucius encouraged Zigong to work for the government. So if Zigong wanted to work for the government, he might start by occupy the position of an inferior officer. All right. So as an inferior officer, he needs to be led by a great officer, right? So Confucius told Zigong need to select a virtuous great officer and to serve him. Okay, and when he worked for the government, he will have several co-workers, and his co-workers were inferior officers. And Confucius told Zigong he needs to make friends of the most benevolent among its inferior officers. Okay, so you understand the social structure, then you can understand why Confucius advised Zigong. What's the meaning of to serve the virtuous great officers and to make friends with the benevolent inferior officer? You will understand the meaning. All right. And under the leadership of all the nobility, there were common people. Common people were just like you and me. We are all common people. We are no government officials. And at that time, there were common people too. And under the leadership of nobility. And from the inferior officers above, all belong to nobility. Okay, so let's go to the text. I have said that 工欲善其事，必先利其器 is a well-known Chinese idiom, Chinese saying that can be translated into English simply as, in the text, when I translated the saying into when a craftsman wants to do a nice piece of work, he will always sharpen his tools first. But we can simply translate it into like this. To do a good job, one must first sharpen one's tools. If you want to do a good job, you need to sharpen your tools. For example, if you want to do a good job in preaching Tao in English, in preaching Tao to foreign people, you need to master your English, right? Or if you want to, for example, like in the Tao society, if you want to be a good lecturer, be a lecturer who can fulfill his responsibility, then you need to learn a lot of Tao knowledge. You need to study a lot of holy revelations and scriptures, and to go into depth of the profound meaning, profound philosophy of Tao, in order to preach meaningful lectures, and to thoroughly explain the topic that you want to deliver, right? And if you want to do a good job in your workplace, whatever you are doing, you need to specialize in that field. You cannot say that I don't want to learn, I don't want to put into effort, but I just want the position. No, if you want the position, then you need to be competent. If you want to be competent, you need to know what you have to possess, what kind of ability you need to possess, so that you are able to do your job well. And that ability, that talent, is the tool. Okay, so to do a good job, one must first sharpen one's tools. And this proverb highlights the importance of being well prepared and equipped with the necessary resources in order to achieve success in any endeavor. Okay, it's a very well-known Chinese saying. 工欲善其事，必先利其器. Okay, and Zigong asked Confucius how to practice Ren. And before answering, Confucius used the analogy of sharpening tools before working to illustrate that practicing Ren requires preparation. See, if you want to be a successful English lecturer, you need to study Tao philosophy as well as English, because Tao philosophy and English are the tools. So we need to prepare. But practicing Ren is much more profound. Practicing Ren requires preparation. And what is the preparation for practice Ren? It involves seeking the company of virtuous mentors and friends. Because every human being is very easy to be influenced by the environment. We will be influenced by the friends around us, by the superior, by the boss we work for. If we work for a righteous and benevolent boss, then we can do a lot of good things. But if we work for an ambitious and just focus on making profits, such boss, then we may not we may not be able to to fulfill our goal in achieving, in doing good things in the society. We may need to help our boss to work to search for his profit. So it is very important to have the company of virtuous mentors as well as virtuous friends. If one resides in a particular country, it is important to work for virtuous and capable leaders and befriend co-workers who possess benevolence and virtue. By doing so, one can benefit from the guidance and mutual learning. Guidance from our mentor or our boss, our superior, and mutual learning from our friends, our co-workers, provided by these excellent mentors and friends. Okay. And Confucius has always been known for tailoring his teachings to suit the individual's aptitude. In Chinese, we say 因材施教. Confucius is very good at this, 因材施教. And in responding to Zigong's question, Confucius answered based on Zigong's personal background and circumstances. And what was Zigong's personal background? Zigong had excellent eloquence and was a persuasive speaker. He was very talented. He possessed great talent for governance. He's very good in politics and served as the prime minister of both the state of Lu and Wei. He once served as prime minister in the state of Lu and also in the state of Wei. Okay. 鲁国跟魏国的首相. And in addition to his political abilities, he was exceptionally successful in business and became immensely wealthy. He was very rich, and making him the wealthiest disciple among Confucius students. Okay, so this was Zigong's background. So people with such background, due to his wealth and influence, Confucius was concerned that Zigong might be surrounded by what? By corrupt officials. See? Because Zigong was very rich. He might be surrounded by corrupt and ambitious officials who just wanted to make money, to earn profits. So Confucius worried about that. And also Confucius worried about that dishonest individuals might want to make friends with Zigong because Zigong was very rich and very talented. And those friends, those mentors would be harmful to Zigong's moral and intellectual development. Therefore, Confucius advised him to cultivate relationships with virtuous mentors and friends. See? So you can see why Confucius 因材施教 Zigong in this way. Okay, so this demonstrates the wisdom of Confucius and his dedicated efforts in teaching his disciples. 因材施教. I will start from the beginning. Let's review this passage. Zigong asked about the practice of Zen. The master said, when a craftsman wants to do a nice piece of work, he will always sharpen his tools first. When you are living in any state, get into the service of the most virtuous and capable among its great officers. Choose a kind mentor and make friends of the most benevolent among its inferior officers, and make friends with the benevolent inferior officers. Choose benevolent, kind co-workers. So Zigong won't be harmed in cultivating his virtues. Okay. And the second passage for the last three passages in this category, Confucius talked about fire and water and Ren. It is very interesting. Fire, water, and Ren. The master said, people's need for Ren is greater than their let's see, then their need for water or fire. Confucius said, I have seen people tread on water or fire and die, but I have never seen someone tread the course of Ren and die. So Confucius meant that to every human being, water and fire are very important, but Ren is even more important. And to regarding safety, water and fire might be dangerous, but Ren is much safer. So since Ren is more important than water and fire, and practice Ren is much safer than tread on water and fire, then why people don't practice Ren? And that is the question. So Confucius used this passage by saying in this like 对比 such comparison to emphasize the importance and the easy access to Ren. It is safe and it is more important than anything, than even water and fire. And why people don't practice Ren? Let's get into the elaboration. The importance of water and fire. In adult men, approximately 60% of their bodies consist of water. In adult women, around 55% of their bodies composed of water. So water is very important to human being. Our bodies require water to support blood circulation, transport vital nutrients, and facilitate waste removal. Additionally, we depend on water for external purposes, such as cleansing and maintaining hygiene, right? And we also need fire. Fire is also very important for warmth, to keep warm, and to cooking food in our daily lives. So both water and fire are essential for sustaining our life, okay? And talking about the importance of Ren is our conscience, our true nature. Unlike water and fire are external to ourselves. Ren resides within ourselves. And Ren is what distinguishes human from animals. Do you think animals possess Ren? Well, maybe we can discuss later. Well, some animals do possess Ren. You see, some animals, well, if I can explain in Chinese, I can tell you a lot of story, but because English is not my native language, so it's difficult for me to suddenly to say some story to you. But you can think about it. Some animals are actually very kind. We cannot say that animals do not possess Ren, but why the saints and sages, they always say that Ren is what distinguishes humans from animals. Why? Because in the cycle of animal reincarnation, animals, their past lives may also have been human, right? If human beings do something wrong, next life they may become animals. But when the soul, human being, we have our soul. Our soul is our true nature, come from heaven. So when the soul falls into an animal body, the essence of our true nature is covered by animal instincts. So some animals, they may be nice sometimes, but some animals, they are, they are dangerous. Or even doggy. some dogs, you see some people like they pat on the dog. They feel that the dog is very cute, but all of a sudden the dog may go crazy and then bite the people in front of him. You never know. They have their animal instincts. But human being, our true nature is not covered as heavily as animals. So usually human beings, like we can receive Tao, we can cultivate Tao, but animals, no chance. Animals cannot receive Tao. They cannot cultivate Tao. They will need to wait until they become a human being again to receive Tao. Okay. So without water and fire, one may not survive physically, but without Ren, one loses their heart and compassion. And what meaning is there left in life without our heart and compassion? There is no meaning in life. If a person without heart and compassion, this person may even harm other people like an animal. And the source of Ren is our soul, our true nature. And without soul, we are lifeless. So Ren is our life. And with our soul, we are lifeless. So Ren is very important, much important, even more important than water and fire. Okay. And besides, to tread the course of Ren is to practice Ren in our day-to-day life. Besides, while water and fire can sometimes harm people, Ren has never caused harm to anyone. Therefore, why are people retreated from practicing Ren? This is exactly how Confucius encouraged people to practice Ren. See, more important than fire and water. And fire and water already indispensable to human being, to our life, already indispensable. But Ren is even more important. And Ren is much safer to practice. So why don't we practice Ren? See, this is how Confucius encouraged people to practice Zen. Okay, let's review this passage. The master said, people's need for Zen is greater than their need for water or fire. I have seen people tread on water or fire and die, but I have never seen someone tread the course of Zen and die. Okay, the third passage, the final passage in the category Propriety Ren. Okay. 子张 was also one of Confucius' disciples. Zhang asked Confucius about Ren. Confucius said, if you are able to practice 5 virtues wherever you go, then you are practicing Ren. And then Zhang begged to ask what what were the 5 virtues. And he was told, the 5 virtues are courtesy, leniency, trustworthiness, diligence, and charity. Confucius continued to expound, if you are courteous, you will not be treated with disrespect. If you are courteous to other people, people will be the same. People will do the same to you. See, if you respect people, people will respect you too. So if you are courteous, you will not be treated with disrespect. If you are lenient, you will gain the favor of people. If you are lenient, if you are forgiving, you are broad-minded, then people will feel very comfortable beside you, to be with you. But if you are very calculating, you focus on trivial things and blame people for minor mistakes, then people will feel very uncomfortable to be with you. So Confucius said, if you are lenient, you will gain the favor of people. People will favor you. People will like to be with you, to work for you. Okay. If you are trustworthy, if you keep your promise, you never fail to keep your promise. You're trustworthy, and people will entrust responsibility to you. Your boss will trust you and give you responsibility for you to fulfill. And your subordinate, maybe you are a boss yourself, maybe you are a supervisor. And so people who work for you, people who are your subordinate, they will trust you. They will listen to your order because you are a person of your words. You are trustworthy. People will entrust responsibility to you. If you are diligent, you will get results. What's the meaning of get results? Get results like every effort counts. Like we are learning English, right? Probably we start from A, B, C. Probably we are a beginner, a very, very beginner. But don't be discouraged that some people, their English already very fluent and I'm only a beginner. You just tell yourself, every effort counts. Every effort you put into studying English, into learning English, you will get results. If we put no effort, then no results. You put one effort, you'll get one result. You put 100 efforts, you will get 100 results. You put 1 million efforts, you'll get 1 million results. So if you are diligent, nothing in the world is difficult. You will get results. Okay, and Confucius said, if you are kind, this will enable you to employ the services of others. What does that mean? If you are kind to people, and people will feel grateful to you, right? You're kind to people, you once helped some people, and when next time when you need some help, people will try their best to help you because they are grateful to your kindness. You once helped them, so they want to repay your kindness, right? You once served them. Now, next time you need some service, people will be very willing to serve you, right? So if you are kind, this will enable you to employ the services of others. But on the contrary, if we are very selfish, we don't help any people. We only focus on our own benefit. We're very selfish. Then maybe sometimes when we need some help from other people, people will do the same to us. Because when they are in need, we are indifferent. We show our indifference. So next time when we are in need, they do the same. So see, this is the law of cause and effect. Okay, so you can see Confucius elaborate the 5 virtues based on the law of cause and effect. Confucius used the law of cause and effect in Buddhism, right? We know law of cause and effect, 因果, belong to Buddhism, right? But you see, the explanation of the 5 courtesy exactly the same, exactly fit law of cause and effect. Okay, now I want to share a holy revelation with you to explain this passage. It is very interesting. This is a holy revelation given by our holy teacher and 小皮皮仙童. Okay, in the year of 2002. Yeah, yes, 2002. Okay, So you can see, okay, this is a lucky clover. Let's first explain what's the definition of a lucky clover. A lucky clover is typically refers to four-leaf clover. See, you can see here. See, this clover has four leaves, and it is a variation of a common three-leafed clover. Usually, the clover has 3 leaves, but four-leafed clover is a variation. And what's the frequency of a four-leaf clover? The frequency of a four-leaf clover to three-leaf clover is 1 to 500. That means if you try to find 1 to 5,000, if you try to find 5,000 three-leaf clover, you may find 1 four-leaf clover. So because the frequency is very low, so it is considered lucky clover, universally considered lucky clover. And in this holy revelation, Holy Teacher give us the gift, lucky clover. Holy Teacher hopes all of us, Holy Teacher's disciples, can be very lucky, can have good luck, good fortune. Okay. Here, finding one is often thought to bring good fortune and is associated with what? With the fulfillment of one's wishes. If you can find one lucky clover, then you can make wish, and your wish may be fulfilled. Okay, and each leaf of the clover is said to represent something. All right. So in this holy revelation, Holy Teacher taught us the meaning of each leaf. So you see the holy revelation, the upper left leaf, gong. The upper left leaf, gong, we translate into English. Let's see the English. Courtesy. And courtesy, Holy Teacher use this rice ear, right? Let's read the English. One should emulate the modesty of rice ears. The rice ears, as they bow lower when they become more mature and abundant inside. You see, when the rice become mature and inside the ears are abundant, because the abundant ears has some weight. So naturally, the rice ear will bow lower. See, they bow lower when they become more mature and abundant inside. So this means that we should learn from the rice ears. When we are more mature, then we can respect, we can be more courteous, we can show respect to everyone. If we are not mature, then we may be very proud, very arrogant. But as you become more mature in your Tao cultivation, if your cultivation is good, if your Tao cultivation is on the right track, then you will become mature and you will become more courteous. See, we come to the temple to learn to respect each other, right? See, when we come to the temple, the receptionist will present you with a towel for you to clean your hands. Because of the COVID-19, so we come to the temple, we use the alcohol to spray our Tao members' hands. But before COVID-19, we understand the etiquette within our temple. When we welcome the newcomer or any Tao member who come to the temple, they step into the temple, we present a towel. And we present a towel and make a bow, see, to show our politeness. So we come to the temple, we learn to be courteous. We learn to respect each other, don't we? and that is courtesy. So Holy Teacher, in this Holy Revelation, Holy Teacher combined the Lucky Clover with the passage in the Analects to explain what we learn in the Tao community, okay? So the first thing we learn is to be courteous. And the second thing we learn is to be lenient, Quan, lenient. So you see the lower left leaf, you can see there are seagulls. The seagulls fly in the sky, right? And there are ships. The ships navigate on the sea, right? So although we cannot see the sky and the sea because the limitation of the leaf, but as long as you see the seagull, you see the ships, you know there are sky, there are blue sea, see? So let's read the English. With a broad and tolerant mind, like the vast blue sea, and the sky, the seagulls can soar, and large ships can navigate within. Quan, leniency. And Holy Teacher used the seagulls and the ships. And actually, this comes from a Chinese saying. The Chinese saying, 宰相肚里能撑船. For those of you who can read Chinese, I think you know what I'm saying. 宰相肚里能撑船. A Chinese saying goes like this. The belly of a prime minister is so big that it can allow ships to navigate within. Okay, so this is blue sea, and this is inside the belly of a minister. So you can how big the belly of the minister is. So the big belly doesn't mean that the minister is fat, but means that the minister has a big inner capacity to accommodate all difficult situations, to accommodate all difficult people, all difficult things, okay? All difficult problems. So it means that one needs to be broad-minded. Probably you think we are no ministers, we are ordinary people, we don't need to be broad-minded. But remember, we are cultivating Tao and propagating Tao. And in cultivating Tao and propagating Tao, don't forget, we will encounter obstacles. Allow me to say some Chinese. 既然我们在修道办道，我们一定会遇到考验，对不对？所以遇到考验，我们是不是要有很大的度量，对不对？ Okay. So it means that one needs to be broad-minded, accommodating, and lenient in order to navigate complex situations and overcome obstacles. When we are at the temple, we learn, we try, we don't oppress anyone, we don't exclude anyone, right? 我们在佛堂我们要包容所有人，我们不能够去排挤、去压迫用一种霸道的方式去压迫任何人。And that's what we should learn. When we are at the temple, no one oppresses or excludes anyone. We all strive to support each other in walking the path of Tao. See, we all try to help everyone to successfully cultivate and propagate Tao, right? So we are all learning to be more lenient and forgiving, right? So Gong Quan. Now we have learned Gong. Next we have learned Quan. Are all the virtues we are trying to learn in the Tao community, in Tao cultivation. Okay. And Holy Teacher elaborate more on the meaning of Quan. The Chinese Holy Teacher say, 宽心足以无忧啊. Holy Teacher said, by cultivating a lenient mindset, we can find contentment and freedom from anxieties. Do you find yourself sometimes anxious, very anxious, or sometimes very worried? If we find ourselves sometimes very worried or very anxious, probably we are not lenient enough. So by cultivating a lenient mindset, we can find contentment and freedom from anxieties. And 宽和足以得众. Holy Teacher teaches us being generous and gentle. Generous and gentle can gain support of everyone. People will feel comfortable to be with you, to work for you, or to work with you. If we are not gentle, we are very picky, or always blame other people, or always very selfish, and people feel uncomfortable working with us. Okay. 宽厚足以承载. A generous and tolerant attitude can bear the impact of external circumstances. Generous, 宽, and 厚, tolerant. Tolerant means that, like, you know, the worship mat, some worship mat is very thin, and some worship mat is very, like higher, whole, thick. So when you have like a cushion, so if you have some problem, if our knees have some problems, and when we are worshiping in the temple, we need a cushion, a higher, a thick worship mat. So the thickness can bear the impact of external pressure. Our mindset the same, our attitude the same. If our attitude is, if our tolerance is very thin, then probably a little pressure, we become, we will feel that our heart is breaking. But if we cultivate the thickness, well, when I say thickness, it's a translation from Chinese, 厚德载物. Our virtue, if we cultivate our virtue, and we become more English tolerant, but I'm afraid that tolerant, when we are saying tolerant, we probably cannot understand the meaning of the Chinese 厚. It's just like the cushion. It's a very virtuous person. His mindset is just like a cushion, can bear the impact of external pressure. Okay, 宽容足以化人. Leniency and forgiveness can transform others. Leniency actually is broad-minded, being broad-minded, and you tend to forgive others, and then you can transform others. If we are very picky and always blame other people's making mistakes, then people might just try to avoid to meet us, because when they meet us, we always blame them. We always blame their error and try to pick their mistakes. So if we are lenient and forgiving, then people will feel, again, more comfortable. So we can, as compared to an attitude of very picky and always blame other people, this kind of attitude can transform others. And possessing a generous and magnanimous mindset, 宽宏, allows us to accepting and accommodating towards all things, all situations. So the last one is the summary for 宽. So all in all, 宽宏足以容物. Okay. So we have learned the second virtue. And the third virtue, trustworthiness. Trustworthiness. Confucius said, if you are trustworthy, people will entrust you responsibility. Okay, and here let's read the English part. Being trustworthy like the sun and moon. Oh, our holy teacher drew a sun and a moon inside the lower right leaf to tell us, to teach us, to emulate the virtue of the sun and moon, to practice trustworthiness. Because sun and moon are trustworthy. Like every day, no matter it's cloudy or shiny, every day during daytime, you don't have to wonder. You don't have to be afraid. The sun won't come out. The sun will always be there every day. Sometimes it's shiny, sometimes it's cloudy, but it is because clouds. The sun is always there. And every night, the moon is always there. Sometimes you cannot see the moon. It's because the cloud, but the moon is always there. So being trustworthy, Holy Teacher teaches us, being trustworthy like the sun and moon, present for every sunrise and sunset, every moonrise and moonset, never absent a single day. So let's see, in the temple, everyone is punctual for classes, right? Like now we are attending the online course. So sometimes we may not be punctual. But if you attend the 实体上课 in the temple, if we come late, then people will notice that. So everyone in the temple, everyone will be punctual for classes and fulfilling their responsibilities, especially during a Tao seminar. Everyone has their responsibilities. Everyone come very punctual and doing what they should do, fulfilling their responsibilities without running away. So this is a very good chance for us to practice trustworthiness. A very good chance for us to practice trustworthiness. So in the temple, in the Tao community, we have very good opportunities to practice trustworthiness. Okay, the fourth virtue Holy Teacher wants us to practice, diligence. Holy Teacher highlights the characteristics of ants. Do you find there's ants inside the leaf? Holy Teacher in the Tao seminar in 2002, in the Tao seminar of this Holy Revelation, Holy Teacher told us, when the ants smell something sweet, they rush to it first. They also call their companions to come. They won't when they find something sweet, they won't just eat the sweet candies and don't want their companions to share. They will call their companions to come. And because teamwork will increase their chances of success. So Holy Teacher wants us to understand that the ants has some characteristic, like very diligent. When they smell something, they rush to it. It's the first characteristic. And the second characteristic, teamwork. They will share their co-workers. They will share their companions. They are not selfish. So because of their hardworking, their diligence, their hardworking, their industrious, and also they are being collaborative. And these three characteristics can lead ants to success. So we learn from the ants. When we feel that like come to the temple, we can establish merits and virtues to repay our karmic debts. So we were very diligent to come to the temple to work, to learn and work, to establish our merits and virtues. And we also share with our Dao members, our brothers and sisters, and tell them the good opportunities to work together. So this is to learn the characteristics of the ants to work in the Dao community. So in the temple, everyone is very diligent. Usually on weekends at home, like usually Dao seminar will be held on weekends. But think about it. On weekends at home, what do we do usually? We tend to be very lazy, right? And unproductive. But on Saturdays and Sundays at the temple, there are often activities. Each participant wakes up early and either drives, you will ride a bicycle or motorcycle, or you will take public transportation to come to the temple. You're very actively engaging in your responsibilities, right? So isn't this the cultivation of diligence? So we have explained courtesy, leniency, and trustworthiness, and diligence. Cultivate the four virtues, practice the four virtues in the temple. Now we have finished elaborating the characteristics of the 4 leaves of the lucky clover that our Holy Teacher wants us to learn. And by learning to cultivate the 4 virtues, to practice the 4 virtues, for what? Now here comes the very important thing. For what? For charity. For charity. This lucky clover takes charity as its stem. You see, we sometimes find a 4-leaf lucky clover among thousands of 3-leaf clover. And we find, oh, today I'm very lucky. My wish can be fulfilled. But Holy Teacher wants us to know the lucky clover is a gift from Holy Teacher, sent from heaven. But Holy Teacher wants us to know the true meaning of the lucky clover. So every leaf, we need to practice a certain virtue. When we fulfill the 4 virtues for one goal, to fulfill one goal, the goal is to do the charity, okay? And charity means to help those in need. Usually charity is driven by our compassion. When we see some people, they badly need something, but they cannot get what they want. Even they cannot get the essential elements they need to fulfill for their day-to-day life. They're lacking something. They are hurt materially, physically, or spiritually, or mentally, or whatever. They are in a very bad situation. And usually we want to help them naturally, because we find those in need. Naturally, our compassion will drive us to help them. And that is from our Ren, naturally. But the greatest charity in the world, some people say the greatest charity in the world is to save people's life. Yes, to save people's physical life is very great charity. So like all the doctors in the hospitals, they earn respect from their patients. All the patients, they respect their doctors. They see their doctors like their God. See? Because doctor can save their lives. But saving the physical lives is not the greatest charity. The greatest charity is to save sentient beings' souls. to transcend the endless cycle of reincarnation. Because saying this physical body, saying the life of this physical body, in the end, the physical body again will come to an end, will die eventually. But after the passing of the physical body, where will our soul go? Go to hell, go to heaven, or go to the eternal heavenly home? Okay, so greatest charity to save sentient beings' souls is to transcend the endless cycle of reincarnation. So by receiving the gift from our holy teacher, wishing that each and every one of us has received holy teacher's gift, the lucky clover, and we will diligently cultivate the virtues of courtesy, leniency, trustworthiness, and diligence in doing the charity work of propagating Tao to save sentient beings, so that together we can repay the grace of heaven and the virtues of our holy teachers. Okay, so this is the end of the category of courtesy and Ren, propriety and Ren, 礼与人. Okay, so let's review this passage. Zhizang asked Confucius about Ren. Confucius said, if you are able to practice 5 virtues wherever you go, then you are practicing Ren. And then Zhizang begged to ask what the 5 virtues were, and he was told, courtesy, leniency, trustworthiness, diligence, and charity. And Confucius continued to expound, if you are courteous, you will not be treated with disrespect. If you are lenient, you will gain the favor of people. If you are trustworthy, people will entrust responsibility to you. If you are diligent, you will get results, because each effort counts. If you are kind, this will enable you to employ the services of others. If you are kind, people will be grateful to you. So maybe next time when you are in need, people will be very glad to serve you, to repay your kindness. Okay, so this is the end of the category of propriety and Ren, and we have some